Yes, okay. Hello everybody, I would like to give a small presentation about crafting architecture. And I divide this into three sections. One is about my works. The second one is about Bintaro Design District. And the third section is about workshop that we want to conduct with the Technical University of Prague. I hope everybody will love to do actual model, big model in the islands. Okay, I will start with crafting architecture. So I think starting from the history that we learned that architecture is made by clay, that people really depend on the soil, depend on the craftsmanship of our hands. So it is important to understand that Prague or Czech is a very old city that we can learn a lot, very long history of architecture. Then compared to my country is contains of islands. It's like 17,000 islands. Then we have to learn a lot about contemporary architecture. So this is what the exhibition that I made in Jakarta. I tried to build a very basic architecture, just creating space made of soil. And it is really hard because this brick is not really dry. So we built step by step. It's broken 2 and 3 times, but after that we try to understand more closely with the materials. Just similar with the Legos that you made this time, but the Lego is very small. But this is real clay. It's very big, and we have to put and combine with water and creating architecture. Yeah, actually I was born in the remote area. Video. Oh yes, I was born in this Java island, and there is no television at the time. There is no phone. There's no technology. So I have to learn that this is my friends, and next. And this is the way that I have to understand the material by understand and play with the clay. But when I return back home, I have to learn that my mother is a ballet teacher. So I learned to hear music, classical music every single day. But at the same time, I have to learn traditional dance. So this creating my background. Okay. Yes, this is the idea that I creating architecture in Manhattan. I propose very extreme buildings. It's a coffee tower, but I imagine nature to the city. So I bring the trees to the towers. So I imagine when I was born, when I bring this life into the modern things. I don't forget to play with the nature. I want to bring this nature close to the people again. So this is like an office for a startup company that they can grow, but at the same time they have tropical things in the middle that they can play, they can play to the outside world, and and they can take a rest, have lunch outside the buildings. So this is my imagination. When I do something in the city, I try to bring the nature in the buildings. Next. So this is small projects in the island of Bali, which we can see a landscape. So I understand that I try to put very little architecture, because I try to maintain all the nature. Next. So you can see this, all the landscape. Yeah, this is I try to put it the traditional idea of Balinese idea, that they creating Zen in the middle. And all of the program is separated like a square. Next. So I'm transforming this into the buildings. Try to creating something empty space in the middle. Next. So this is the idea. So actually all the building is like separated, but there is a space in the middle as empty space. So this is the result. But I imagine everything is, even using the natural material, I want to use, this material looks modern. Next. So everything is separated. Next. So you can see the living room is open space. But this is the study room that you can close, so you can put air conditioner on it. Next. So this is the same space that I propose, similar to the one in traditional learning. Next. Next. So you can imagine that if you stay here, you can see the nature. So I also combine with the different material, metal, concrete, and bricks. Next. And open living room. Next. This is the next project in Lombok Island. Actually, the project is very small, and then this the sea. So this is also villa. I try to make it very as little as possible to maintain all of the landscape. Next. Next. Am I using a clay mixing with the concrete? We call it a ram earth. Next. So we put this swimming pool as organizer of this composition of the buildings. Next. So I thought it is important also to use recycled material. This is containers. We bring it over. This is the clay. Next. And this clay we combine also with the sun, so we get a different color. Next. So this is the building. Yeah, so the this water will bring this connected to the nature. Next. Next. This is the living room that we bring from outside to inside the clay. So this is the container. We put the bamboo, but we put the living room, bathroom on the back side. So you can imagine this, that the composition of nature and architecture. So I want the nature is bigger than the architecture. So this is my parents' house. We creating also villa with bamboo, but the architecture made by furniture maker to make the joint of bamboo. And this is several chairs by several architects. This Van der Rohe Barcelona chair and Red Blue chair by Gerrit Rietveld and Chandigarh chair, a Corbusier. And then I finally make a chair. So this Kosan chair, which we can take out this and put it here, so it's very easy to bring. This just released last 3 weeks ago in Paris. Next. So yes, this is the mock-up. We make a mock-up from rattan. Next. Yeah, so this is the Kosan chair. Next. So imagine is that is temporary living, that we even ropes, we compress the ropes into only this one. Okay, next. Now in this second stage is Bintaro Design District. I created small events this last year. So this district is happening next month. So this compared to another events, Milan Design Week, New York Design Week, Helsinki. Next. And last year, Martin involved. I think somewhere here is Martin. So we curated the designer and make an exhibition in the district. Next. This is Martin. I think this movie, but so the imagination is BDD here. Is this is Jakarta. It's a very small village actually, but now it's close to the airport. So in the future, I hope to create several districts, and then in the future become Jakarta Design Week. Next. So this year idea is inclusivity. That means we bring everybody to be part of the design. So I imagine that everyone who has concern and respond in the 1 kilometer of this area and respond with the design, it will create something beautiful. Next. So for example, this is Arnivora. They create the idea of creating open studio. They try to copy this traditional signage into the studio. Next. Next. Yeah, I think this is digital native. They creating a digital image in the studio, which we can touch and create a new image. I think they will present in PDD. This prefab house also. Next. And also this also new installation. This also installation, just like what you are doing here, but we make it one-to-one models by own studio. And also this another studio, they creating temporary library during the events. Yeah, actually this movie. Next. Now I will launch a new workshop on temporary living in remote islands with Martin. Martin will explain more detail after this. Actually, we propose everybody who interested to live in the island for temporary, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, or 1 month. Then we can imagine something new, because we have to make a research. This is an island of Indonesia. We can choose several islands. Next. Maybe this close to Komodo Island, Lombok Island. It is a very interesting one. And then we can investigate the island. what they have in the island, what we can learn, the technique of living and everything. Next. So we can choose this Sumba Island, Flores Island, Timor Island, Lombok Island. Then we can investigate the island, for example. Next. Then we come up with temporary living. For example, like tree house or something very basic. Then you can create also bag or small things. That's it. I think you can say more, no? Martin? In Czech?
Jo, tak já jenom ještě něco řeknu v češtině pro naše studenty. Tady vlastně, co říkal Budi, tak bude se jednat o workshop, který v příštích 2-3 týdnech oficiálně vypustíme s naší katedrou. A půjde o to, že budeme dělat workshop na zadání na dočasné bydlení a výsledek toho workshopu pak povezeme jako katedra na tu výstavu do Indonésie, kde se právě bude řešit dál nějaká spolupráce a je v jednání ta myšlenka, že by se mohl uskutečnit letní workshop příští rok přímo jako na jednom z těch ostrovů, který se vybere. To samozřejmě uvidíme, jak se to jako bude dařit, jestli se to stihne vyjednat, ale je tam ta možnost, že to může být jako realizace 1:1 potom. Tak jo, děkuju. Thank you.